So you want to import LEGO Fortnite characters, but you don't know how to start? Well, I'll be teaching you by using FModel and Blender of how to import the LEGO Fortnite characters. I won't talk about how to set up either of these programs, just the bare minimum, such as add in the UE format add-on to Blender. To get this, we got to go to the UE format GitHub by half, go to code, and then download the zip file. Once we download the zip file, we'll have it. If you use something like WinRAR or 7-zip, then you'll just see the file here, but regular Windows would work. What we'll do is we'll just grab Blender and take it out. And now we got to go to percent app data percent, so then we can actually go to our Blender folder where we can drop the add-on in. As this isn't a zip file for us to install, we have to install it like this. Now, once we've done that, once we load Blender, we're able to go to Edit, Preferences, and then go UE format. There we go, do .ue format, and then you see it. This is just, as you see there's the path, app data, Roman, Blender Foundation, Blender 4.1. You want to do .ue if it doesn't appear with UE. And there it is. Once we have that added, if we go to File and Import, we should see it at the bottom here. And this is a good step, just so now we know our program works. Then we'll go to FModel, which I have open here. We want to make sure we go to our settings and make sure mesh format is set to UE model. I would also recommend having compression set to Z standard, just so then your files are smaller. Beyond that, we'll go load all, make sure we're on Fortnite. This only works from release 30 and potentially onwards. As we're not on 30.10, I am unable to comment, but I know that it works on version 30, which we load all here. It will take a second to load. Once it is loaded, we're going to go to Fortnite game, plugins, and we're going to scroll down to Juno, which is, game features. We're going to scroll down to game features, wherever it is, and then we're going to go to Juno, which is the code name for Lego. And then under here, we're going to go to figure character. This is just so when we can get the base model to actually put the minifigures onto. In content, we're able to go to figure core, and here we have the skeletal mesh. So if we take a look at these by just double clicking them, for instance, figure preview, it's a Lego figure, it's pretty self-explanatory, and it also has the head. We're going to be using, I would recommend using we'll use figure preview, because this has everything here and we know that it's all there. There may be a better piece to use, but I've used this with my ports and it works really well. So we're going to right click this and save model. As you see here, Lot 0 UE model for SKM figure preview. If we click on that, then it will open up the folder, and this is our export folder with everything we need. So now we're going to go to figure cosmetics. Going to figure cosmetics, this folder here has literally everything. If we go to figure, within figure cosmetics, it will take a little bit to load. Then we can see every single folder we need to import a skin. I would recommend copying the directory and then going to package, then search, because it's a lot easier than searching through every single code name. You may also wonder, how do we know what's the code name for a skin? There's a couple of ways to do this. There's like a couple of Google spreadsheets, but I don't know if they've been updated. I'm talking, it's been a while since I've looked into it. But your best bet is to look into Fortnite.gg, as it has the skin and it gives you a good preview for what they look like. And at the bottom here, it will give you the ID. So for instance, with Color Team Leader, we're looking at ID pink bear. So within FModel, we're going to put the path in, and then we're going to search pink or pink bear. If nothing appears, then we do figure underscore pink, and boom, there is now pink trooper, pink bear, pink trooper, pink emo. It gives us all the paths. This is just for the body textures, and I'll explain why. So as we see here, there's pink bear texture, and then the textures. So here, as you can see, this is deco, and there's deco D, M, which may not look like anything even when you do that. Then there's Elium or element, and again for the head accessory. So we want to export all of this, as these will be useful. What will also be useful is if we go back to figure character, we are able to get the body texture, which is a normal map, as we'll need this to just for simplicity and consistency. So then from that, we're going to go back to the search because it's really annoying just to scour through the files. And we're going to go underscore figure underscore shared parts. Now this folder here, this is the big folder with the actual head accessories, or in the case of Color Team Leader, the bear head. If you just look in, there is a lot, also including hip accessories, neck accessories, everything. A lot of them are also numbered, and that's based off the official LEGO ID system, which is needed for skins with actual LEGO real life equivalents, such as Darth Vader. So, as Darth Vader has a real life LEGO figure, the head mold is going to be based off the LEGO one and not his codename. It gets a lot more complicated as they try to also reuse pieces. So not every skin will have a dedicated head mold. So stuff can get complicated. So it's best to just look for the closest equivalent. Such as when I was porting Frigid for Goa the other week, I literally just searched on Google Lego cowboy hat, and then I checked to see if the code existed in the files here, and it did. So then I used that. But back to this, we go to shared parts, and we're going to search for we go head underscore pink. Oh no, head ac or accessory pink. There we go, pink bear. So right here we have the head accessory for the pink bear, or in this case Color Team Leader. If we double click on that, then it will load the file here. And as we can see, here it is. It's pretty self-explanatory as the whole system. So we'll right click and save for SKM or skeletal mesh, and then we'll also get the end texture or normal map. And with that, that's all the files we need to port a skin. So now we're going to move to Blender, and within Blender, we're going to start by importing the base model, which I still have the folder here. So if we go import UE model, and then bam. And here's the basic model which we'll be using for this. There's a couple of settings you can do when importing. I would recommend doing reorient bones, as what this will do is this will position the bones to actually be aligned with the joints. Although as it's Lego, you might not need to. Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's why. So as you can see here, there you go. It's all rigged just like that. Everything's there. It's there's not that much deformation normally, as it's just a basic figure, but it's all there, and that's what we want, so that's good. So we're going to go to we're also going to import the head model, don't want to forget about that, which we get in figure cosmetics, shared parts, and then there. We're just going to delete the rig here, and we're just going to connect it to a body. Sometimes there's better ways to go about this, but what I do is I just start again for each one, although I just copy the material. Uh, it's a very expandable system, but for the most part, as they're all using the same skeleton and stuff, you don't need like 50 skeletons or 50 unique parts. So we're going to go to the shaders tab, the shading tab, and just for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to grab this. There we go. And we're going to put that there. Something I also like to do is just removing the world opacity. And you can enable whatever settings you want. For the most part, you don't need them. So now that we have the figure here, we can begin texturing it. Something that could be useful, if you're coming from Fortnite porting, what you could do is you could open up Fortnite porting and get the basic material. As the Fortnite porting material is a pretty universal material, especially for Fortnite stuff. In this scenario, we won't be doing it, but actually, you know what? No, I'll show how it works. So, I won't explain Fortnite porting. It's a very useful tool. I'll be sure to leave it in the description with all the other links. But you can get a model. In this case, I'll just get Color Team Leader. As Fortnite porting doesn't support Lego figures, this is why we're just using a solely FModel focus. So you get this. We don't need that, but we just stole it for the materials. And you did that within Fortnite porting here. Very useful program for Fortnite. But now we have the actual material. So we can go to Fortnite porting material. Here we go. And with this basic material, we have to set up the material for the actual figure. Who would have guessed? So we want to get the element. We also want to get the deco. In most scenarios, we won't be needing this. As it just doesn't have that much of a purpose. Even if I load up UV map here. This is more so metal. That's what it is. So this is metal. In most scenarios, you're not going to need it, as skins do not have metallic parts, but in this scenario, it does. I should explain what I've done. So, I've dragged the textures in, which you can do with this file explorer. And what I've done is I've added a node called UV map. And this is because the location of the UVs are different. So what I'm showing here is the default UVs, or how the model looks normally. But then I switched to UV1, and now you can see that all of the textures are actually properly mapped to the figure. However, you will also notice how it's black when it's not supposed to be. This is where the element texture comes into play. So if I put this in to UV0, so if I put this into UV0 and I change it from linear to closest, this is just so then there's no interpolation with the texture, as you can see here, with how it's like getting a little bit of the skin color. But if we just set that to closest, then that works. So now the question is, how do we get the textures, or like the look or decoration from this onto the element? Well, we'll get another node, which you go add, or you go Shift A and you just go search. You go mix color, and with this, we're gonna put the color of the deco diffuse into B, the element texture into A, and the alpha of the deco into the factor. It's a little bit confusing, but once I plug this into diffuse, it will make sense. So as you see here, the decorations and the colors are all there. If you're using Node Wrangler, a very good add-on, helps a lot. But if you do that, you can go Control Shift and left click on a texture, and it will show you what it looks like. And if we do this and we go to alpha, you can see how the alpha is projected. Basically, anything which is white is visible, while black is invisible. And if we keep that in mind and we look at this, you can see how it lines up perfectly. So with that in mind, when we plug the alpha into the mix, then it means that everything which is like black on the alpha is going to be visible, even if we don't have the element plugged in, so we can just make it blue and whatnot. All of that's going to be visible still. And that's basically the whole gist of porting Lego figures here. There's a lot more complicated stuff you could do. You could have a very elaborate shader, which has like fingerprints or adds dents or other stuff. But we're just keeping this quite basic. And once we do that, then that's just like the whole figure mostly. However, we do still have M for metal here. And to do this, what we're going to do is we're going to do separate color and combine color. This is if you're using the Fortnite porting shader. If you're using Principled BSDF, you would just separate color and put the red into metallic. But because of Fortnite shaders, we have to plug the red into green and throw that into specular. And once we do that, now it's metallic. Although a little bit too much, what you can do is you can just increase the roughness up to like 1.75 here. And now it's a little bit shiny, maybe 0.25, maybe even higher. There you go. So now it's shiny, but not too shiny. A lot of this is just by eye, really. If you can make it look good, then it's just whatever works. So that's just like the gist. That's the basics here. There are other colors when it comes to M textures. I haven't fully documented them all, so I can't comment. But the most genuine, or the general one I'm seeing is that red is metallic, which makes the most sense. I'll have to do more work and figure out the rest. Another thing which I am not going over in this tutorial is face rigs. As if you've seen LEGO Fortnite skins, their face rigs are very expressive, and I haven't looked into it myself properly, so I can't give a fully documented explanation behind it all. Alright, so back to this. We're missing the normal map. So we're going to go back to, I'm just going to go to FModel and just click on the normal map, which is the figure body. But you can get that just by searching through the files or whatever. And you can just drag and drop it there. So what we'll do is we'll set sRGB to non-color, and we're going to plug that into normal. You're not going to really notice that much of a difference, but overall this just makes the model smoother, as if it had a whole, it just looks higher quality. I'm not really going to explain how that works fully, but it works. So normal maps are very useful textures as they are tricking the light. But that's the basics of porting a Lego figure. What we're going to do is we're just going to copy all of this for the head. Although what we're going to do is we're just going to remove the deco here, as the head doesn't need it. And with that, the head is also now done. Just like that. Heads are quite complicated when it comes to LEGO Fortnite figures. As I was saying with their faces, with how they're animated, they're treated a lot differently to everything else within this. But to finish this up, we're going to do the head of the color team leader, and we'll just do what we did last time. So we're going to go, not layer, we're going to go to FP material. I'll show you how to do it with a principle. I mean, it's just the same system with principle, so I won't. But so FP material again, you got this from Fortnite port in, and you imported a model. If you don't want to do that, I'm going back on myself. But if you don't want to do that, just principle BSDF. We get mix shader or mix color. Throw that into base. Element into A. Set to closest. Deco set to B with alpha in factor. With head moles like this, you do not need to do UV map set to 1, as it just looks the exact same. That's just because they do not use them. We'll also have the metallic here, which is nothing, so we don't use it. But we also need the normal map, which we just get from the file there. Now, the thing with normal maps is there's two variants to them. There's OpenGL, which is what Blender uses, and then there's DirectX, which is what Fortnite uses. And how we deal with that is, there's a few ways to go about it, but we'll go RGB curves, and we'll plug the color in, then we'll go to G, and we'll just invert it like that. And then we get a normal map, and we plug that in. And if you tweak for roughness, you can make it seem shinier or whatever. Fortnite skin or LEGO Fortnite are about this rough, maybe a little bit less. Obviously, I did a completely different solution with the body, so I can't really adjust it properly. If I was to increase the red value here, then it will also be as shiny, which is probably maybe a good idea. So you probably want to do that if you're doing the Fortnite porting method and it has a metal. A lot of this is just guesswork, figuring out what works well and what doesn't. So because of that, it's just all by eye, really, as we do not have a dedicated shader towards it. There are shaders for LEGO, however, they need to be adjusted to fit or to accompany LEGO Fortnite. I've done so in the past, and it's a lot of work, I'll say that much. But for the general gist of it, this is the basics, and that's LEGO Fortnite Cuddle Team Leader here. It's quite simple, I say, but it takes a bit to get used to. If you ever need help, anyone within the Fortnite port-in Discord server will gladly, or most likely, be gladly willing to assist, and I'm also there. It's been nice teaching this, and I hope you're able to import some LEGO Fortnite characters and make some cool renders. I'll be sure to release another tutorial for once I figure out face rigs, or I have my own systems to actually accompany with it. But I hope this helps with this, and I'll see you in the next one.